we're gonna dive right back into more Rogue Trader. I'm gonna do the best I can with voice acting. I've been hearing myself in the last one in bits and pieces I were really good at, but I think what's really telling about my voice acting last time was I need to be a little bit closer to the mic. I need to be real close to the mic because a lot of the sound just escapes when I'm away from the mic. So when I'm voice acting, I'll try to be close to the mic and we'll try to do the damn thing. As a matter of fact, back this shit up. Back up. You know, I want people to see my beautiful face. And there we go. I'm going to do the best I can when I voice act. We're going to dive right back in, and I appreciate everybody that's bringing the love and support. And without further ado, let's do the do. Boot that game up, and I might as well, while I'm here, that means auto and that means quick save. While I'm here, and I'm about to voice act, throw this away. I need to get 2 bottles of water, because it's going to be a tough day. Here we go. Here we go. Stay hydrated, folks. Stay hydrated. Music is fucking beautiful. Okay. We are back. Let's do this. And let's go ahead and try our best. It was a little janky for a second, but here we go. Our mission right now. By the right of blood, Theodore von Valencius and Edelthrad are dead, and Captain MrHardcoreMode has been declared the new rogue trader. The newly crowned Lord Captain will face new challenges at the helm of the powerful von Valencius dynasty and protectorate. Rogue trader Theodore von Valencius desires to personally meet with this is older, so the newest one is on top. Okay. Visit Rockety the prison planetoid. A matter of utmost importance led the interrogator of the Inquisition, Henrix von Kallux, to the Rykard system. The rogue trader's duty, as loyal servant of the Imperium, is to find the interrogator and aid him in his mission. Since his whereabouts are currently unknown, it may be easier said than done. But he's within the Coronis Expanse, so he's in the Rykard system. Let's see. Looks like we have 3 missions here. Visit Rykard Filia, the prison planetoid. Prison planetoid in Rykard may have caught the interrogator's attention. So maybe the interrogator might be here. The navigator's abode could have been a plausible destination for an interrogator of the Ordos Xenos. The station's residents may tell the rogue trader if they are playing host to such a guest. Make contact with the Navis Noblite station. I think I want to do that first. Looks like it's on Eric 5. Land on Rykard Minoris. The interrogator must have visited Rykard Minoris, perhaps the planetary governor, known of his present whereabouts or planned course of action. Okay. Personal request. Argenta asked the rogue trader to talk with her on the ship as soon as the opportunity arises. Better not to put it off for too long. Probably not. And we got other errands as well. Let's go ahead and talk to our companion first. To our baby girl, Argenta. Who is not our baby girl because she does not do dates. She is fully in service of the God Emperor. Which sucks because I would like to hit that. Helm's Master Ravor. Who's this? The tall man before you appears to be woven from tendons and muscle. Blue-veined snake under his white, almost dove-colored skin. In his scalp and chin are covered in cropped white hair. His neck and shoulders are wrapped in wires that hint at the presence of neural connectors under his uniform. The officer's face seems to be twisted in a perpetual grimace of annoyance and anger, but he greets you with a respectful nod. Lord Captain. What sort of voice should we give with him? Since I did a voice last time, but I forgot about it. Let's go with... Lord Captain, Master Helmsman Ravor, at your service. Well, we know who he is. Remind me who you are. I am the Master Helmsman, Lord Captain. I stand at the wheel of this here tub. I mean, the vessel. The bar commands at the idiots who tend to its related systems. In layman's terms, I'm the one who stops us from running into an asteroid. Who are these idiots you are in charge of? There are too many to list them all. Tech Piece from the Engineerium, Poisman from the Augur decks, the work-shy folks on the bridge. I'd have every last one of them flogged. They all need wake-up call. They all need a wake-up call. They need to be whipped into shape, or else this ship will go nowhere. Or even worse, it'll go somewhere we don't want to. That's for now. Right you are, Captain. You're a Voidborn, are you, knights? That I am. Born into the Helmsman clan in the bowels of Chartist vessel. Studied the family trade until I was 15. Then my entire clan was butchered in a mutiny by lower hold scum. They spared the youngins, of course. They did. Kids with implanted connectors make great navigational servitors. But I was having none of it. They weren't going to make a servitor out of me, so I escaped into the crawlways, and then I spent months picking them off, one after the other. Ravor stops abruptly. You got me talking up a storm. Anyway, yes, I'm a Voidborn. Finish your story, Ravor. Ravor stays silent for a few seconds. Not much to tell. I've gutted everyone I could get to, and then I fled upward to the middle decks. That's where Augur operators took me under their wing. They have apprentice helmsmen of their own up there. And you see, nobody asked me any questions. So I stayed. I grew up, trained, got smarter. Then ended up a junior helmsman. A dozen years later, Dan Rook spotted me and lured me away, the cheeky blighter. I used to be. What's the voice from my character? More old and grizzly? I used to be an officer in the Imperial Navy, and I could say this with certainty. The best helmsmen come from the Voidborn. I'm glad to have you at the helm of my ship. Ravor freezes tensely, staring at you in the eye and clearly trying to discern if your words are meant as mockery. After a moment's pause, a muscle in his face twitches, then another. His cheeks spasm, his mouth twists, and you realize that Ravor is unsuccessfully trying to remember how to smile. Thank you, Lord Captain. I won't let you down. I can see you are not a gregarious sort. Ravor's eyes twitches. Aye. I done something to displease the captain. I'm merely sharing an observation. On the contrary, you are the first person on the bridge who's not tripping over themselves to lick my boots. The helmsman perpetually twists mouth twitches as if he's trying to smile. It looks sinister rather than friendly. Oh yeah? Well, I'm pleasantly surprised myself that you aren't having me flogged for insubordination. Well, wonders never cease. Connecting wires. Once they go into the control panel, I become one of the ship. Except with the bloody cogs messed up on the wire stimulus injectors and connectors when they're implanted them. They twisted the wires the wrong way or burned something in my noggin. Anyway, I can't sleep. It just doesn't happen anymore. It's been 30 years of non-stop stimulants and a splitting headache. So you'll forgive me if I'm not all smiles, Lord Captain. I'll take my leave, Lord Captain. Argenta.
Rogue trader.
Sister Argenta looks tired. There are dark circles under her eyes. Her hair is somewhat disheveled, and she moves like she's a little on edge. We'll do the personal request last. Tell me about the Adepta Sororitas.
Gladly. There are none more faithful to the God Emperor than my sisters. We fight against his enemies by the will of the Holy Ecclesiarchy. I beg your pardon, Rogue Trader. Here I am talking about what every lesser noble in the Imperium knows. So what exactly are you interested in hearing about?
The Adeptus Ministorum, the Ecclesiarchy, the religious body of the Imperium, also known as the Ecclesiarchy, which venerates and promotes the worship of the Emperor of Mankind. Basically, like the Vatican. They say the Adeptus Sororitas are the fiercest in the faith among the warriors of the Imperium. Is that true?
It is. The Sisters of Battle are a fire lit by the God Emperor. They are the echo of his voice that travels through the dark expanses of the universe. We bring...
Oh, sorry. Hold on. I forgot about this. Forgot the setup. Are we good? Is that good? I think that's good. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Wrath to heretics, mutants, and other enemies of humanity. We protect the faithful from the unholy and unhallowed. Sometimes with words. More often than not with a bolter.
Are all sisters truly as flawless as you say?
Even the novices of the Adeptus Sororitas are drawn from among the most worthy. Those who have taken the vows and become a full-fledged sister are the best of the best, tested by trials of body and spirit. Yes, there have been cases when a sister stumbled or showed weakness, but do not expect to hear a story of depravity or downfall from me.
Okay.
Each such occurrence is a great tragedy for us all. Light cannot bear the smallest speck of darkness within. And thus those who have trespassed or shown weakness of spirit are given a chance at redemption. They are called Sisters Repentia.
Oh.
And may the enemy tremble before her, for nothing can stop a sister of battle who yearns to be cleansed of fault and weakness.
Basically, a Sisters Repentia, if I remember correctly, a Sisters Repentia is a person who is trying to right a sister who has failed in their duty and is trying to repent. So basically they go in with no armor and implants and they try to answer for their sins. They're going in naked in the fight and trying to, yeah.
Wearing nothing but robes,
yep.
No armor, eviscerator in hand. Those sisters who have once faltered find repentance on the battlefield. Their lives are seldom long, but a death in the name of purgation is a better fate than to live with a shadow in one's soul.
What order are you from, sister?
Once I had completed my novitiate, I was sent to the Calixian branch of the Order of Our Martyred Lady, assigned to the Order's Pronatus. The Order's mission is vital and noble. The Sisters Pronatus protect great relics of the Imperium. We guard them, preserve them, escort them when they are brought onto the battlefield or presented for pilgrims to venerate.
The Order's Pronatus. The Order's mission is to vital and noble. The Sisters Pronatus protect... Okay.
And we seek out the relics that have been lost. Neither a coven of heretics nor the most wicked death world can deter Sisters Pronatus when their goal is to return a piece of the great legacy of the Imperium into the hands of the faithful.
You said you belong to the Calaxian branch of your order. What brought you here to the Coronis Expanse?
The Order sent me to Footfall. My undertaking was to assist the local priesthood of Drusians in caring for a sacred reliquary that had been there since the time of Parsimus Duane, the station's founder.
Followers of the cult of Saint Drusus, a legendary hero at the Angevin Crusade who fought the Calaxic sector for the Imperium of Man. Are there any other members of the Adeptus Sororitas in the Coronis Expanse?
None that I'm aware of, but the Sisterhood's orders are many, and can operate independently of one another, sending their sisters wherever their presence is needed as deemed by the Ecclesiarchy. Perhaps somewhere in the Lord Inquisitor's retinue, may his path be blessed, my sisters perform their duty as we speak. I wish it were so. Even a single evening spent in joint prayer and training would bring me joy.
Okay. I have no further questions about your sisterhood.
Should any more arise, keeping them to yourself would be imprudent. It is a virtue to take an interest in holiness.
Oh, okay. She's pretty nice. Tell me about yourself.
About me? I am the Emperor's daughter and his servant. What else is there to tell about me?
What did you, how did you end up on the Theordis ship?
I first came here when I found myself in need of passage from Footfall to a remote planet. But I imagine what interests you is not that first journey, but rather what brought me aboard prior to the pirate attack. That story is complicated. It just so happened that I made a mistake. In a moment of laxity, I was ambushed by the accursed followers of the archenemy. I was badly wounded. Lady Theodora came to my aid and brought me aboard her ship, while her crew attended to me in my weakened state. It all happened not too long ago. I'd barely recovered from my wounds when the pirates struck. Truly, the servants of evil know no rest. There is no place where we can be safe from their machinations.
I was ambushed by the accursed followers of the archenemy, a malign metaphysical force composed of psychic energy that exists in the alternate dimension known as the Warp. Okay. What happened to the people who wounded you? Did Theodora's men eliminate them?
Sadly, they did not. Lady Theodora was in a hurry and chose not to stay on the planet. Her people took me to a ship while I was unconscious, and when I came to my senses, we were already flying away. How I pray to come face to face with those heretics once more, and it's bound to happen someday.
You mentioned you made a mistake.
It happens even to the best of us. My mistakes are my burden to bear. I'll find a way to atone for them.
She's really heard about the mistake that she made. Interesting character. Where did this happen?
On one of the recently discovered planets in the Expanse. No one suspected that it had already been tainted by the filth of heresy. Had I known it beforehand, of course I would have been on my guard.
We could go to that planet and deal with the Chaos Worshippers.
The path to that planet was lost. All the knowledge is gone, along with the previous navigator. It would take immense effort and resources to rediscover the route. The heir to the von Valanci's protectorate must have plenty of other issues to deal with right now. Perhaps later, when the skies above our heads have cleared.
Her character is very interesting. What was it like traveling on Theodora's ship?
I hadn't been here that long. Just one journey from Footfall, and the other journey, the majority of which I spent in the confines of the medbay. I can't tell you much about the first voyage. I was more focused on prayers and ruminations than on the people around me, or the journey itself.
So she keeps to herself, okay.
During the last journey, Seneschal Viserion stood out for me. He came by several times to ask about my health. He's an honorable man and a loyal servant of the Imperium. I think he is as meticulous in his inspections of the logistics systems as he is in his inquiries about the health of the occasional sister of battle aboard the ship.
Interesting. Seneschal Warson.
But not all of Theodora's people have earned my trust. You know who I'm talking about. There is no place for Adira Tlas among the God Emperor's faithful.
Ah, Adira.
I'm surprised she wasn't in league with the pirates. And I'm equally surprised by how deep heresy and treason run in this place. I'm glad we all made it through that dark hour. May the day that follows be bright. As you wish.
What is it that keeps that's keeping you in my retinue?
This ship was targeted by heretical pirates, which means that my presence here and the assistance I provide to you are my sacred duty. Sooner or later, I will likely have to return to Footfall to protect its reliquary. But for now, I wish to remain a part of the Rogue Trader's crew.
And the Footfall is a massive void port on the edge of the Cronus Expanse, and a notorious hotbed of vice, trade, and Rogue Trader intrigue. I have an option to say one of these. I'm pretty sure number 2 is flirty. And number 1 is something that she would like you to say. Can I quick save right now? Oh, hell no. I don't know what to say. Let's do number 2. I enjoy your company, Argenta. I hope that you remain in the crew and that the ship becomes your home.
Those are very courteous words, Rogue Trader. Thank you, both for your words and your hospitality.
Courteous words. She is so puzzled. She has no idea what that means. She has no idea what that means. She gives you another somewhat puzzled look. If I remember correctly, you cannot do that. Like, hold on. Argenta... I don't think she's an option. I remember, I think I saw it in the trailer. Like, she is not an option. Yeah, that's that is not happening. A build? No. I remember. No! What the fuck? That is a random question. Somebody's like, yo, can we romance the Tyranids? And I'm like, stop. Somebody's asking, we gamers have spoken, don't ship the game without Argenta romance. I'd rather there be no romance options. I agree with romance with Argenta. No, we haven't. Yeah, like, yeah. It's not happening. It's not happening. If I remember correctly, all the romance options are... Yeah, it's not happening. It's like they have something against tomboys. Somebody said that. Alright. Bring it back. Let's say something else then. Yeah. That ain't happening. The game, like, even lets you do that shit. Yeah, for some odd reason, I'm saying it. For some odd reason, Owlcat Games is like, yo, is that a tomboy? No, you can't date that. And I'm like, stop. We like tomboys. And I'm like, so what's available? You got this weird cat lady that's a spider, and you got this. And I'm like, these are horrible options. I'll talk to him later. Who else was available? Mm-hmm. Okay, this is all the stuff. Okay.
Rogue trader. Gladly, there are none more faithful to the god It is. The Sisters of Battle are even the novice. Each wearing nothing but robes. Once I had.
So we know all about
this. The Order
this.
sent me to Footfall. My undertaking, none that I'm aware of, but the sister. Should any more
Tell me
arise
about yourself.
About me. I am the Emperor's daughter and his servant. What else is there to tell about me?
And that's it.
I made a mistake. Sadly, it happens on one of the recently discovered planets in the Expanse. No one... The path to that planet was... I hadn't...
Okay.
But not all of the... As you wish. This ship was targeted by heretical
Pleases me to have a servant of the Golden Throne in my crew.
So they shall.
See? She's so into that. So what is your personal request?
I indeed have a request, Rogue Trader.
Okay, you just stop talking? The accursed servants of chaos who assaulted this ship took the lives of your loyal crew members, and they orphaned many children, including the progeny of the brave officers who defended their post until the bitter end. I don't know what customary practices there are for cases like this in the Von Valencia's territory, but in the world I'm familiar with, the children of such brave souls could expect to receive some special consideration. Perhaps the Rogue Trader could meet with the orphans? I will meet with them. No formalities needed. These are the children. What's the last one? The orphans are to be properly provided for, but a personal meeting with the rogue trader is too much. Deliver this order on my behalf. The orphans are to be properly provided for. Yes, I will meet with them. No formalities needed. These are the children of the people who give their lives for the Von Valancius dynasty. My consideration is the least that they deserve. I will pass on your instructions. Thank you for taking my request to heart. Okay. Yeah, you can't have sex with the Sisters of Battle because Owlcat Games hates tomboys, or hates it when tomboys have relationships with characters. You're just like, oh cool, Kingmaker, Amira, barbarian, female, looks hot, wanna marry her, can't. Wrath of the Righteous, wanna get with this one chick, can't get. Actually, in Wrath of the Righteous did alright. But they gave us some pretty creepy ass women in Wrath of the Righteous. So it was kind of they gave each and every companion an opportunity. So there was no companion in Wrath of the Righteous that you couldn't be with. But the companions in Wrath of the Righteous, oh, except Nenio. Nenio's considered a tomboy. It's just that, yeah, I don't really want to date Nenio. Nenio's weird. Nobody argued about Nenio. The motley group of adolescents do not take their eyes off of you, gazing at you as if you were a creature straight from a fairy tale. Our indefatigable sister has been keeping an eye on those pups. Abelard glances at the gathered children. It is hard that the scholar progenium is here. We have provided the orphans on our ship the adequate care and instruction. Magenta is standing to the side of the group. At your approach, she perks up and announces, her voice ringing. Brave ones! The master of this ship has appeared before you, the one who guides it through the darkness of the universe by the Emperor's will. Greet your Lord Captain, the rogue trader of the House Von Valancius. Grandly addressed the group. Address the chaperones, give them treats, and escort them to their homes. I believe a minute of beholding the Lord Captain is great enough honor of them. I am the rogue trader of the Lord Captain. This sounds pretty pompous. I, the rogue trader and Lord Captain of this ship, speak to you now. Your parents gave their lives for a just cause and brought honor to the Von Valancius banners and those of the Imperium. I am proud of them, and I am proud of you, and I believe that you will become their worthy heirs. The teenagers hang on their very word with a bated breath. Only a few at the far end of the row seem sullen and not particularly impressed by the speech. The scowling visitors with a thin scar across his face tosses his head back and says bitterly, "So what? Why should we care? Our friends and parents died in their dozens, and you noble lot, and you just give speeches." Quickly turns to the boy. A flurry of emotions flashes in her dark eyes, like she wants both to calm him and scold him for his impudence. Oh damn, you can punish the troublemaker. Address the group. If you have things to say, say them without fear. I will listen. The boy smiles grimly. It doesn't matter what we say. It won't bring our parents back, and it won't change our fates either. We'll keep slaving away on this ship until we drop and die like our folks, or worse. Hmm. Hmm. This number 2 one seems like I did my best. I kind of like number 3 because it doesn't fuck around with this guy, with this orphan. Number 3 sounds pretty dope. I kind of like that. I don't want to punish him. The strong have the power to decide the fate of the others. The weak either obey or die. If you seek a different lot in life, boy, save your grumbling and look for an opportunity to rise above the rest. I kind of like that one, because this life is fucking hard. And you just give us speeches. Interesting. Their comportment leaves much to be desired. I hope they will be molded into worthy servants of the Valences. No, that's not good enough. No. When the heretics who killed you. The strong have the power to decide the fate of the others. The weak either obey or die. If you seek a different lot in life, boy, save your grumbling and look for an opportunity to rise above the rest. Yeah, this is kind of that hard, tough love. You heard the rogue trader. His words carry the wisdom of the Imperium. It's hard to say whether or not your words have left an impression on the boy, but he nods slowly, then he catches himself and gives you an awkward bow. Alberta gives a sigh, and the servants immediately emerges carrying packaged treats, with Von Valancius emblazoned on the wraps. It appears that the seneschal came prepared for the contingency. Just throwing stuff. Since rubs her temple pensively, she smiles and offers a few more words of encouragement, then leaves the bay. That was hard to choose. I wonder if words of Because the kids was like, words of encouragement isn't gonna work, and I was like, I'm gonna tell you the truth, kid. It's gonna, yeah. You can't lie with the kid. I had to tell him the hard truth of it all, and that's what I did. Because the kid was right. Speeches are not helping. I think we're done there, maybe? I'll check.
Greetings.
Even in stillness, Sister Argenta radiates energy, with her dark eyes shining and a slight blush on her cheeks. She is reciting a prayer and looks at you only once. She has spoken the final line. Captain Hardcore Mode, greetings. Until next time. Okay, cool. We're done talking to her. Okay. Let's do the other errands. Let's see. Machine Spirit Keeper. The void ship requires a new engineer who may be found somewhere in the system. That is... We'll leave that alone. Void ship needs a new navigator. One that may be found. We're actually going to probably find that. Losses suffered during the cultist raid can be remedied the crew losses suffered during the cultist raid can be remedied on Ricus Minoris. Ricus Minoris. So that is one of the areas. Okay. That is all of them. They actually kept it pretty clean, actually. Let's talk to him. Lord Captain, the ship informed me of our imminent meeting. Connect me to the vessel's main channel. I wish to bolster the morale of our crew. The Voxmaster nods obediently and presses several switches on the device she is holding. Oh yeah, that's right, she's a female. It is done, Lord. How do I voice this? It is done, Lord Captain. Yeah, I like that. You address the crew with a rousing speech and hear your voice roll through the ship, reaching even the normal quiet corners of the vessel. When the broadcast ends, you hear distant shouts of approval. Remind me who you are. Voxmaster Octavius Vigris Suri Arta of the Ptoleman Dynasty, the current Voxmaster, serving abroad your vessel, in accordance with the Seneschal's orders. I assumed this duty immediately upon the demise of the esteemed Voxmaster Septus, who was my grandfather. What are the Voxmaster's duties? I am the ears of the voice of the void ship. I supervise several dozens officers and 3 times that number of support personnel. We receive, send, encrypt, and decode all incoming and outgoing messages through the ship's internal and external channels, and we also ensure clean communications and the optimal efficiency of the crew's Voxcasters. So basically, this lady right here is my cell phone to the whole ship. If you ever want to know what worries and concerns your crew are harboring, what your subjects are whispering about in local networks after their watches, and what their leaders are clamoring about over short Vox transmissions, just come and see me. I will satisfy your curiosity. Have your Vox spirits brought you anything interesting lately? Forgive me, Lord Captain, I have no information. Why do you look so strange? My appearance comes from my heritage. Generations after generations of people who spend their entire lives in the depths of this void ship. Neither we nor our ancestors have ever left our home. But the same can be said about many denizens of the Imperium million worlds. We are used to the silence of the cosmos and the voices of the ship. There are thousands of us, but we dwell far from the Lord Captain's upper decks and remain unseen. We are the Voidborn. So they are men and women who are pretty much blended into the ship. That is crazy. Where did the Voidborn come from? Because we are the children born in the void, between the stars, be it the womb of a traveling vessel or orbital satellites, or a forgotten asteroid station, low gravity voyages through the warp, and the countless dangers of space traveling. Everything others hate and dread is second nature to us. Tell me the lives of the Voidborn and my crew. To us, the groans, creaks, and murmurs of the ship sound the way babbling brooks and singing birds do to work dwellers. We hear the ship breathe, know what it is feeling and thinking. We are a part of the ship, just like it is a part of us. We perform numerous functions, and there are many officers among our number. So some maintain order and prevent mutiny, others serve as shepherds and support the crew, and some devote themselves to meaning the body and spirit of the vessel. Most of the Voidborn are members of the large void ship dynasties that bear responsibility for the certain aspect of the ship's life. For 300 years, the main branch of the Tumulent dynasty have produced the ship's Voxmasters, and most of our subordinates come from the cadet houses of the dynasty. How do you find life on the ship? Life has been quite generous to me, Lord Captain. Okay, I'll just keep it small. How do others treat you on the ship? We look, speak, and move differently from the inhabitants of the planetary worlds. Our way of life, traditions, and quirks frighten these people just like the darkness of the cosmos. Many believe us to be the bringers of ill fortune, and alas, it is the Voidborn who get the blame of terrible war phenomena during long voyages. Looks like you are close friends with Adira. Webs of tiny wrinkles appear at the corners of the Vigis's eyes. The only hint that the Voxmaster is smiling. Voidborn seldom make friends, especially among the captain's entourage. But you see, many consider Adira to be different. I am different too. We have spent plenty of time in each other's company discussing regicide over a glass of Amasek. Potent alcoholic drink of varying quality, widely available across the Imperium. Okay. Interrupting the Voxmaster's emotions based on half a face of Vox modulation voice is not easy task. But you manage to catch the undercurrent in Vege's words. The Voxmaster is not merely saddened by her rift with Adira, she is devastated by it. So she's best friends with Adira. Have you left the ship? Oh, I did once, and it was dreadful. It felt like the massive blue dome overhead could shatter at any moment and fall, and my bones would be crushed by the gravity. The ship is my home, Lord Captain, and I would not trade it for a bounty of 100 worlds. Okay, so pretty much there's people that literally live in this area. Abelard.
Lord Captain.
Let's talk about things that may be useful to me as the rogue trader.
A noble aspiration, Lord Captain. I am ready to acquaint you with all the particulars that interest you.
Outline the situation of the Coronis Expanse for me. What do I need to know and keep in mind?
This is a topic for an official briefing, not a casual conversation. But I will try to answer succinctly. And if you permit, in my own words. The Coronis Expanse is considerably removed from the heart of the Imperium. This means that local warp routes become useless within months. Established pathways are regularly subject to attacks from all kinds of rabble. And in the only major port, the Imperium's frigates find themselves moored alongside pirate vessels. Until recently, the Coronis Expanse could hardly have been called a region of the Imperium. The situation has changed with the arrival of the Lord Inquisitor, but not by much. This place operates under its own rules, you see. More radical, so to speak, but ones that allow for a non-standard approach where there is a promise of victory. The Coronis Expanse is considered rogue trader territory for a reason. Only rogue traders have sufficient military might, audacity, and the rights granted them by the warrant to survive the leap into the unexplored part of the Expanse, and in the event of a successful outcome, to hold on to whatever they manage to capture on the frontier.
Who are the main players I need to be aware of in the Coronis Expanse?
In the first instance, you should treat official representatives of the Imperium with respect. The Expanse may be on the fringes, but it still numbers among the territories of the Golden Throne. The arrival of the Lord Inquisitor has turned the Coronis Expanse into a less wild and uncontrolled region.
Dang, just
to the regret of some individuals who had grown inured to the local lawlessness.
Man, just an Inquisitor being in the system just lowers the amount of crime.
Rogue traders such as yourself are also servants of the Imperium. They have been accorded special rights and powers. They wield immense authority within their territory, and they enjoy absolute respect in other parts of the Expanse. The most powerful of them are Caligos Winterscale and Incendia Bastal Chorda. Tread carefully when dealing with either of them.
Caligos Winterscale and Intercedal Bust, those are both the other rogue traders in this area.
If we are to speak of unclaimed territory, which is what Footfall is, among the scum that dwells on that handful of asteroids, there are 3 factions that wield considerable influence in the sector. The first is the Kazbala Commission, organized crime in its most primitive form. It holds sway over the Liege of Footfall and has links to rogue trader Winterscale. The second faction is an offshoot of our shining ecclesiarchy, followers of St. Drusus. They are actively building their forces and hold influence over rogue trader Chorda. And finally, the third faction, the Explorators, a wing of the Adeptus Mechanicus. They are willing to die and kill for the secrets of the ancient technological heresies that are hidden among the stars of the Coronis Expanse.
Interesting. Conrad, our previous master of Rispus. What can you tell me about his betrayal? What do you think he'll do next?
You know, Lord Captain, I am no admirer of fine art. But when we next find ourselves in a civilized port, with time to spare, I will promptly find an artist and commission a portrait of the individual to whom you refer, with a hole between the eyes. Conrad Voigtveer. That he committed his treachery and escaped with his life was an unforgivable oversight. We both served Lord Captain Theodora for many years, and we never saw eye to eye. He was brash. He was never afraid of assuming responsibility, and he willingly took on difficult tasks. I am loath to admit it, but the Von Velatius Protectorate continues to reap the fruits of his labors to this day. His service always garnered my respect. But everything else about him made me want to wring the neck of that two-faced snake.
True.
If you are taking comfort in the thought that we will hear no more of Conrad, prepare to be disappointed. You thwarted his plans, his meticulously plotted and nurtured treachery. He is sure to attempt to strike at you, and he will use his contacts and knowledge of the Protectorate to do so. The only question, Lord Captain, is whether you will be able to anticipate his next steps.
That's all for now.
As you wish, Lord Captain.
I'd like to know more about my seneschal.
As you wish, Lord Captain. What would you like to know?
Where were you before the Theodorus seneschal?
I used to be an officer in the Navis Imperialis.
Nice.
No. Used to be is not quite right. It was not simply a job. It was my calling. The essence of my life. I was proud to serve Lord Captain Theodora, but in my heart and mind, I am still an officer of the Imperium.
Okay.
I met Lord Captain Theodora on a mission where the Imperial Navy was providing reinforcement to the rogue traders' army on one of the frontier worlds. Our acquaintance was not easy. Working with people outside the Navy hierarchy has never been my strong suit. It was to my great surprise then, that after the mission's completion, I received a referral to leave my service in the Navy. and join the rogue trader's personal council.
Did she hire you?
It was a difficult choice for me. But I
Oh,
saw
it was
in
an
the
option.
offer a chance to serve the interests of humanity even more effectively than in the Navis Imperialis. You do not need me to tell you just how remarkable a person Lord Captain Theodora was. I recognized her at once as a true leader and formidable creative force. One who had built a protectorate amidst the dangers and wildness of the Expanse.
Leaving the Imperial Navy is far from easy. Why were you permitted to quit your post?
You could say there was no one among the naval command who was willing to impede the wishes of the rogue trader.
Oh,
To do so would be to risk their own position and their relationship with Theodora. The Lord Captain possessed certain contacts in the Imperial Navy.
I see that.
Contacts which she used to request help during the conflict on the border world. And which enabled her to make me an offer that resulted in my joining her retinue.
okay, so she took in part of that. Okay.
The Navis Imperialis is an ancient institution with its own mandates and muster lists. On occasion, in the heat of an official briefing, or an informal discussion, I violated those rules, determined to press my point. It is challenging to choose the words to accurately express my opinion on a situation or the actions of others that do not sound overly scathing or confrontational. Many in command were inclined to view my manner of speaking as unbefitting a person of my rank.
Okay, so he has a problem with his emotions a little bit. The way you talk about Theodora, I'm beginning to think you were in love with her.
What? Lord Captain, any allegations of improper feelings or unsanctioned relations are utterly baseless and bordering on the insulting. Utterly baseless.
Do you have a family, Seneschal?
I am a widower. I am a father of 4, and if my information is not outdated, a grandfather of 11. My family lives on Dargonus. None of my children express any eagerness or aptitude for serving aboard ship, and I would hardly have insisted that they follow in my footsteps.
Understood. Well, thank you. I have no more questions, Seneschal.
Of course.
You call me by my first name? Hell no.
Lord Captain.
Hell no, he can't call me by my first name. We're not there yet. We're not in that relationship yet. All right, last person. A tall, middle-aged woman who stares straight ahead, her eyes vacant as she rubs the implant on her temple. Her collar is undone, and one of the clasps is on the verge of falling off. Sensing your presence, Adira turns her head toward you and offers you a crooked smile, even as her eyes look right through you. I guess we'll start from the top then. We'll start from the bottom. Things are strained between you and Adira, isn't that right?
The little sister is afflicted with her own set of voices, ones that whisper to her about corruption and heresy. The silly girl doesn't realize that if she wants to find the source, she needs to start by looking in her own head.
I guess those two are gonna be fighting. Adira, about your abilities.
What are you talking about, Lord Captain?
You are a Psyker. Psykers are only granted the right to live with the Emperor's blessing. Have you ever been to Terra?
Look, Lady Theodora couldn't care less if some eggheads measured my brains or not. It's not about the seal on your forehead, get it? It's about what's in your gut, if it's rotten or not. My gut's stronger than the adamantine on this here ship.
Okay.
And my implants are better than the ones they put in you on your Terra. If they weren't, I wouldn't have lived as long as I have.
She bares her teeth in a savage grin, a furble gleam in her eye. So what's it like being a psyker?
Lord Captain, forgive me, but it would be like talking to a person born blind about colors. I could spend hours explaining, but it wouldn't make any sense to you. Every psyker feels their connection with the warp in their own way. One person might see spots and shadows out of the corner of their eye. Another feels fingers running down their spine. As for me, I've got a door in my head. One that's open just a crack. There's no way to close it, no matter how hard I try. I've just had to get used to the whispers from the other side. When I need to use it for work, I listen in more closely. But I usually just try not to notice it.
What would happen if the door burst open?
Well, if the door opens, that means somebody's planning to come in, right? But screw them. They're not coming through. Trust me, I know how to keep my valuable head locked up tight.
And how do you live with these whisperings in your head?
Training, habit, and a little amasec and a couple
That's
other
alcohol.
things you can get on the lower decks. If you put all those together, it makes things bearable. Sometimes I even wonder if I'm imagining half the voices I hear. You know, when life on board gets a little boring. Better than listening to the living, anyhow.
Aren't you afraid of losing control?
Only losers who are afraid of their own gift lose control.
Oh,
Or
okay.
idiots who never figure out what they are before it's too late. Or little kids who want to play around with their shiny new toy.
Uh-huh.
If you don't know the limits of your abilities, or you're always bouncing around in your own head, that's a recipe for disaster.
Well, can you see my future?
All right. That's what I'm here for, after all. So, I'm just going to lean on that door in my head a little more, prick up my ears, and listen to what the warp's got to say about you. If you'll allow it, I can listen right now.
Sure.
All right. Let's hear what they're whispering about you.
Adira laughs, rubs her hands together, and suddenly freezes with a vacant smile on her face. Her head slightly tilted. You feel goosebumps appear on your skin, and your collar begins to waver ever so slightly, as if moved by a breeze from a half-open door.
Seek not on firm ground, but in a golden hall suspended in the void. There waits a child without kin, but with a name blind to truth. She draws the brush across the canvas and does not notice that her palette is full not of paint, but of blood. And with each smear, this well does not deplete, but fills and fills up to the brim. One thing is clear. When this vessel overflows, none will remain unstained. Among the blind men and false prophets, a red-robed sage seeks the answer to a question. He does not know that it is not the answer he must seek, but the question that will draw everything into focus. Will you help him, rogue trader? But mark that sometimes ignorance is sweeter than oblivion. A chained hound chases after glimmers of the aurora, but sparks in the scent of oil confound his nose. The chain trails after him. What will happen if you pick it up? Will you become his master, or merely another beast in the pack of his true lord?
A chained hound chases after glimmers of the aurora, whose sparks, the scent of oil confounded his nose. This sounds like the one wolf companion from the yeah, with the that's a fucking, what's it called? A Warhammer soldier. What are they called? I forgot what they're called. God, man. It's that big red-headed dude in literally the front of the game. I think he's referring to him. Will you become his master or merely another beast in his pack for the Lord of his true Lord? These are about the companions then. Among the blind men and false prophets, a red-robed sage seeks the answer to a question. He does not know what is not the answer he must seek. The question that will draw everything into focus. Do you help him, Road Trader? But mark that sometimes ignorance is sweeter than oblivion. A child without kin, but with a name blind to truth. She draws the brush across the canvas and does not notice that her palette is full not of paint, but of blood. And with each smear, this well does not deplete, but fills and fills up to the brim. One thing is clear. When this vessel overflows, none will remain unstained. With a name blind to truth, she draws the brush across the canvas, does not notice that her palette is full of not paint, but of blood. I think this is referring to probably the Navigator. This is related to the Navigator. I think this one is related to the Sanctioned Psyker, and this is related to the one big dude.
The glow of dawn bursts forth from its prison. Dungeon walls cannot contain the dark essence wallowing in the dust. A naive cub pushes his nose into a familiar hand, one that holds death in twisted glass. Cherish it or cast it off as a burden. The sword of change has already been raised. What is one more life to it?
A glow of dawn burst forth from its prison. Dungeon walls cannot contain the dark essence wallowing in the dust. The knave cub pushes his nose into the familiar hand, one that holds death in twisted glass. I think this is related to an assassin that's going to join us.
I'm sorry, Lord Captain. The voices are going wild. I can't make out a thing. I'll try to rein them in somehow. But for now...
That's fine. Where do you come from?
Lyra, an outlying world in the Heathen Stars region. In the Coronis Expanse, the deeper you go, the less visible the Astronomicon gets, and the less people know about the Imperium. The arrival of a rogue trader is the best thing that can happen to a world like that. The very best.
Tell me about Lyra.
It's an out-of-the-way planetoid between two faint stars. On Lyra, a dozen local tyrants fight over 5 measly continents. But they use everything they can to win, from poison to psychers. I haven't been there in many years, but there's nothing for me to miss. Trust me.
Sounds fucking horrible.
But here on the ship is a different story altogether. I saw more wonders in my first year serving Lady von Valancius than I'd seen in my whole life on Lyra. Like my first journey through the warp, I was in bed for 3 days. I felt like supernovas were exploding in my head. I only found out later that I'd gotten off easy. Just through the bulkhead, in the bay next to mine, a whole team turned into... Look at me rambling on, Lord Captain. Pay no attention.
Have you ever been off the ship?
A few times. Not many. And if I think about it, why would I want to? I've got everything I need here. All the whispers I hear are familiar ones. They almost feel like family. And if I want to hear about the nightmares off the ship, I can, after some Amisec. But don't go getting the wrong idea. If I have to, I'll follow you to the edge of the galaxy.
Good. How did you end up in the rogue trader's service?
Theodora von Valancius paid a visit to the ruler I was serving at the time. I don't know what the visit was for. And it's no business of mine anyway. I can still remember the way the voices in my head changed when I looked at her. They were practically screaming. She had so much behind her, and plenty ahead of her too. As I gawped at her, all of a sudden I heard a whisper. A hint, a suggestion, nothing more. But I know the difference between idle chatter and a real threat. I seized my chance and approached Theodora. I managed to whisper a couple of words in her ear before the wardens dragged me away. They beat me and locked me up. No wonder. It wasn't my place to converse with outsiders. And then Theodora's people came for me. They broke down the wall, butchered the guards.
Damn.
Also, I could tell them my warning in full. So I said the rest, but I didn't want to go back to my old life. And so I entered the service of the Van Valancius dynasty.
So she owes a lot to Theodora. That makes sense. What did you do before you came on the ship?
Oh, I embroidered wall hangings in honor of our national heroes.
Doubtful.
I did the same thing I do here, Lord Captain. Divining. Our rulers prized the ability to see into the future. Every psyker that could be found was worth a small fortune on Lyra.
Okay.
There's no such thing as a peaceful life on Lyra. People like me were especially sought after. They'd pick psychers up wherever they found them, buy kids off their parents, even just abduct them.
Damn.
Take me, for instance. I got taken from my street gang. The older kids sold me when they noticed there was something off about me. The ruling dynasties had schools where they trained us.
That's
and
terrible.
beat us black and blue. And then they packed us off to serve. Some of us held on for a long time, but others didn't last. Not everyone's as smart and talented as me, you know.
Oh, you're pretty proud of yourself, aren't you?
Some people crossed the line and were out of commission before their time.
Lyra looks at you expectantly. Then, as though clarifying, she uses her hands to indicate a head exploding and laughing.
Of course, Lord Captain.
Did you know Theodora von Valancius well?
None of the officers knew the Lord Captain well. Not even Abelard.
Nope.
And she was always closer to him than anyone else. She told me from the off that if I ever listened to anything in the warp about her without her permission, I'd be going out through the airlock. I'm not an idiot, so I never stuck my nose where it didn't belong. Only when I was asked. It's hard to wrap my head around the fact that she's gone. Lady von Valancius gave me everything I have. She opened the stars to me and the paths between them. I still think I can hear her voice.
I must take my leave.
Of course. Always at your service.
Okay, we know every single character that we can talk to. I'm gonna walk around. We talked to all the main Voidsmen at arms. Voidsmen at arms. That's just a door. Here, Voidsmen at arms is just another guard. Bridge Technomat, that's nobody. Let's check this thing real quick. Bridge Technomat. Okay, we've done everything. Okay, we've done it. Everything. We're good. We can move on. Alright, we've done the talking. Now let's do the playing. I told you I was going to do the whole game. I told you. The events of the Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader take place in a vast region of space known as the Coronis Expanse. The sector is composed of numerous star systems, many of which you will get a chance to visit. You will find yourself scouring the void in search of routes leading to a new uncharted system, discovering more routes as you explore the expanse. Your star system contains objects you can interact with, such as objects that are marked as points of interest. Okay, gotcha. Rykard Minoris. Was it Majoris? Mini or major? Not explored. Scan is required. Machine Spirit, New Blood, Land of Rykard Minoris. Unidentified void ship. Is this us? Profit Packard, Rykard. I think I wanted to go the guide. Oh, it's the mission. The prison plantoid. I want to go here first. Lord Captain reporting. The heralds of the Navis Noblite continue to maintain Vox silence, perhaps due to Iraq 5 being off limits to visitors. Continue to maintain Vox silence. Prepare to oh yeah, sorry, I'm saying the same thing. We intercepted signals from the beacons drifting to the station's orbit. The demands are clear. We are told to turn the ship around immediately. We have also detected an accumulation of space debris near the station's docks. Presumably, it is the remains of the interplanetary shuttles. Perhaps the esteemed Navis Noblite house requires aid, and therefore cannot respond to the Vox transmission. An accumulation of space debris near the station's docks. Presumably, it is the remains of the interplanetary shuttles. Perhaps the esteemed Navis Noblite requires aid, and therefore cannot respond. You are... Contact the station again. I will negotiate personally. I am sorry, Lord Captain. The station does not reply even after an official greeting by the rogue trader and the declaration of your intent to negotiate in person. Order the crew to scan the station. Yes, Lord Captain. The Vox remains silent for a while, but then you hear a static in Vidis' measured voice. The officers of the Argo crew performed a full scan of the station, but the information is imprecise. They note wave distortions of unclear genesis that are throwing off most of the readings. We were able to ascertain that the reactor core of the station is still active, but many compartments are unpowered and some fully depressurized. The signs of biological activity are largely present in the central module, which means the station has not been abandoned. So the question remains, why are the esteemed navigators' heralds ignoring us? Biological activity are largely present in the central module. Means the station has not been abandoned. So there's somebody in the area. Is it just one person? Many of the compartments are unpowered and fully depressurized. Order the crew to commence docking. Yeah, this sounds weird. Affirmative, Lord Captain. We do not know what is happening at the station, so we will have a look at the esteemed navigator's blind. Dock safely, and may the God Emperor light your path. Yeah, this sounds odd. Okay. All integrity. All right. I think. First of all, save before we make some healthy ass. Okay, so we're going with this team right here. Let's go ahead. All right. We did a whole bunch of dialogue, but we finished it. So we won't have to talk to them for a while unless they actually truly need us. I wanted to get